All right. Hello, everybody. Good to see you out there. I'm here with Cece Yu, the one and only. I'm Paul Tranny, so welcome, everybody. Johnny Vino just got done. Thank you so much, Johnny. Appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow. But Cece, it's good to have you here. How you doing?
Thanks, Paul. It's great to be here.
Good. Your first time on a live stream.
First time live stream.
Yeah, and we were talking earlier. There's no 5-second delay in case you go on some rant. Who knows what?
Yeah.
And now I'm a little concerned. Are you just gonna go off and another thing?
This is giving me permission to
I'm like, no, we don't have the tools in place to mute. Blah blah blah. But anyways, welcome. Good to have you here.
Thank you.
So, plenty of people out there, and you live in the Bay Area, is that right?
I do.
Okay.
I live in Redwood City.
Redwood City. Mm-hmm. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. I love it there.
And you happen to have chicken coop.
I do.
I just think that's really cool.
I love my chickens. I have 5 chickens. They lay eggs for us every morning. And they're just the most hilarious, silly things.
Are they really?
Oh, yeah.
Do you notice they have all different personalities?
Oh, yeah. They have lots of we have one that's super skeptical, one that's super mean, and one that's really smart. I don't know.
Oh, wow. See, that's cool. That's pretty neat. I think that's kind of awesome. So we'll hopefully hear about all that. Also curious as to where everybody else is from. From the UK, I see Nathan Galloway from Oakland, California, not too far away as well. Anissa. Oh, from LA. Anissa. Hello, Anissa. Hello. Awesome. Tim is in Germany, I think. So,
chicken UX.
Yeah, maybe we'll do a chicken UX. Who knows? Maybe we'll do something,
Uber for chickens.
Uber for chickens. Hey, I need a chicken stat. I need an app for that. I need a chicken.
Oh,
anyways.
We'll make a Lyft for chickens. That's the slightly friendlier version.
And is the Lyft, does it give only chickens rides? Or does it just bring a chicken to you?
Oh, I don't know.
Who knows? Either way.
Could be anything.
So you can kind of see where everybody, Lithuania, awesome.
So cool.
Of course, Oscar from San Francisco here. And Bristol, Belgium. Awesome. So thank you so much for joining us, especially if you're joining us from Europe. We know it's awfully late, and we just really appreciate you hanging out with us. Again, it's Cece's first live stream. I think we have some cool things planned. I don't know, what's the plan for today? What do you think?
Yeah, totally. So I totally would like to hear from you guys for what you guys want to see. But I was thinking that we could go through the app creation process for a food app. So I've been thinking,
I like food.
Food is great. We really love food. So we have 5 chickens that give us eggs every morning, right? And we want to use those eggs. So we have a lot of dinner parties. And I've talked to my husband a lot about, making food for large dinner parties is actually pretty hard. You have 5 recipe tabs open at once, and you're trying to figure out, okay, well, if I put the meat into the oven at this time, how much time does that give me to make the pasta, and then how much time does that give me to make the salad? And so maybe there could be an app that sort of allows you to take all of the recipes from different tabs, aggregate them into one place, and then sort of see a unified, kind of direct piece of directions.
No, it's good, because I think a lot of times cooking, it really is all about timing.
Yeah.
You can't have the pasta getting cold while you're waiting for the chicken to something else to happen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if you can time it all, knew what to do, and can time it out right,
Yeah.
to get the result that you want.
Yep.
Is that kind of the
Yeah,
the
definitely.
thought?
Yep, and there'd have to be some engineering magic somewhere there, but
Okay, very,
we
very
can
cool.
just pretend.
Yeah. And again, this is all for fun. We just appreciate everybody joining us. Miroslav from I don't know where, but good to have you guys here. Also, keep in mind we have a contest going on all day today. Really, this is the last 2 hours for this, by the way. So we do have a contest, and we'll mention this really fast. It's all about public transportation. So use Adobe XD. We need at least 3 artboards. Link them together. Public transportation is the theme. Determine that, or interpret that any way you want. Add the interactions. You're going to be able to share that link, and ultimately that link is going to go on this form. All of this is actually in the contest tab. Hopefully you're on behance.net/live. The contest tab is where you're going to find these directions, and we'll give Creative Cloud to someone here in about an hour and a half, and we'll have a random giveaway between now and then as well. Does that
Great.
sound good?
Sounds
We'll
awesome.
just give away some free stuff. Try to give away some free posters, maybe some socks. We have these XD
Ooh.
socks. Do you see these?
Those are pretty.
Yeah, they
I
are
like
kind of. Honestly, this is probably my favorite color out of all the apps that we have.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
really into the. I mean, I don't know if it's
Fuchsia.
really fuchsia.
Yeah.
There you go, fuchsia.
There you go. Designer.
That's designer. Like, I know what color I want, but I think most of the women I know, like, will disagree on what a color is called, but we'll always pick the same color. If that's like,
yeah.
I'm like, I really like this color, but we just end up calling it different things. I think you called that fuchsia. I would have said pinkish purple
Yeah.
or
Okay.
something. I don't know. Uneducated
Is that a color
expert.
in the Crayola box? I don't know.
There we go.
Purple?
I should consult
There you
I only had the 8-pack of Crayolas. I wasn't the big 64-pack. You were spoiled. No, just joking.
Yeah. Always.
Anyways, so this will be fun. I like the idea.
Yeah.
And this is an interesting concept.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
So are you thinking, would this be like a browser experience, like sort of a desktop and mobile, or what do you like in terms of size? Because I notice you have a size here that's wider.
Yeah. So I have the size wider here in XD. But I was gonna like start with some sketching first, actually. And some,
Okay.
like ideation, just to kind of like figure out exactly what we want this app to have. So
Yeah.
initially, I was thinking browser, just because personally, when I cook, I use a laptop because I want it to be like sitting open and like not be turning off and like not having to like, I don't know, like touch things when my hands are dirty
Yeah.
and all that stuff.
Exactly.
So
That's good. So yeah, sort of obviously your MacBook Air is something that you could have in front of you, or even like an iPad or something, but a larger sort of experience over a phone.
yeah,
I like it.
totally.
Let me move that over.
Yeah.
So we're gonna do a little bit of sketching.
So let's do a little bit of sketching. Okay. Do we have the camera on?
Oh yeah, we
Okay.
can totally.
Nice. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So let's see. So I think that what I like to do when I start thinking about an idea like this is just kind of go through the steps of the experience. So for example, maybe the first thing that I'm ever doing is just sort of like browsing online for recipes, right? And then 2, eventually I'm sort of like, selecting, types of food. So for example, some might be, I might want a salad, plus I might want a pasta, I might want a meat main, and then maybe I'll want like a dessert or something, and I sort of like, okay, so I want one of these in every category, let me figure out which one I want. And then I feel like there's this sort of like, do things fit together? Like, does this kale salad match with this chicken, or is it not really? And then after that, just sort of like making sure that it sort of like fits within, time. So for example, if I know that I have like 4 hours to cook and I want dinner to be ready by 7 or something like that, is my roast like, does it have to be in for like 8 hours or whatever? These are just the things that go through my head, not things that we necessarily need to put in the app, but I'm just sort of like writing down everything that is sort of like, coming to mind. And then after that, sort of like make all the tabs open. And then, start cooking, right?
Yeah. And I'm sure probably before this, we're just gonna there will be like a list of ingredients. I was thinking ingredients.
Oh, yeah.
But we're gonna assume that you have the ingredients because it'll be like listed at some point.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
No, that's totally right. So between here and there's actually like, an ingredient list. So, shop for ingredients or like look at ingredients. Do I have all the ingredients? And then, you buy them. And then, yeah. So let's see. Are we missing any other steps?
No, I mean you start to realize how complex this can get, because it's like, like how many people are part of the dinner party,
Right.
and then it gets into like sizes and different things.
Right.
Seems like a little complex to me.
Right.
But
For example, yeah. So for example, you have to figure out like, okay, do I need to multiply the recipe? Or like have it or whatever. And let's see. Yeah.
I like it.
So,
Because this is good, because I would have like overcooked the pasta while the roast beef would like not even be cooked all the way. So this is why this is important. Like even like I think this can get really complex, but I think like ideally like erring on the side of simplicity to a certain degree, at least dumbing it down for me would be good.
Yeah, totally. Maybe what we can do is so I feel like that's like we can talk about like the common problems that we sort of face when we're sort of like when we're sort of using this.
Ashley brought up, Ashley, do you cook? I'm kind of curious. Ashley Palka mentions like specialty items, for instance. Like if like a recipe had something like a specialty item, I'd probably want to know about that. But that's a good thought.
Yeah, totally.
Basically, what's going to happen is we're all going to start to get like really hungry during this. That's what's going to happen.
yeah, for sure. So,
and there will be photos.
Yep, definitely. So yes, there will definitely be photos. So another thing I just want to like write down really fast before we get into like sketching are just some of like the biggest problems or sort of pain points that users kind of like come across when they're sort of like going through this process. So.
Yeah, I know. I would honestly I would overcook the pasta, because I'm a one-track mind. Like I would be so focused on like prepping the salad while I would overcook the pasta.
Yeah, totally. So that's a problem, and then maybe we can also like brainstorm some solutions. For example, so like overcooking, the thing that I think about is like you need to make sure that there's some sort of like alarm.
Yeah.
Like you have to like set you set a timer to do things like what if the app sort of like took care of that for you instead of having to like do everything. What other problems do we have? I mean, there's just like the aggregation problem, right? You have to look at like lots of different recipes on different tabs, but you want to make sure that you're seeing all of them at once. And then you also just want like, efficiency. So you want to know like if something has to rest for an hour, you can be doing something else within that hour. So it can be telling you. So if there's a rest point, like,
And curious just from you guys, like Rebecca, we are teasing you with the XD socks, quite frankly. You probably saw those a second ago. We will be giving them away, don't worry. But Timer, Arshag, but let us know if there are any other sort of snafus or issues you might run into.
Yeah, someone mentioned prep time. I think that like that's totally...
I think even Sarah mentions multiplying the recipe, the serving amount, and honestly, I hate to say it just to make things more complex, but it's like that determines how long things take. The size of a turkey will vary depending on vary in time it takes to cook it based on the size. We won't get into that though.
Yeah, totally. Okay, very cool. Someone asked where I'm from. I'm from the East Coast. I grew up in New Jersey.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So I'm just gonna like leave this on the side so that we can start to just kind of like rough out like a really quick flow to and make sure that we, get all these problems down. So let's see.
Yeah. That's good.
Okay. So the first thing is sort of like creating a menu, I feel. And I feel like that can, take on a variety of forms. The one that sort of like comes to mind immediately to me, so you've got like, your browser window and you have like a tab open. It's sort of almost like Pinterest, right? Where you're kind of like just like adding links or adding recipes to a box, right? And you're sort of like, and so even if it was like, typing in the URL, right, of the recipe, and you send it somehow, or sorry, you submit it somehow, and then it just sort of gets added to a list. So it's kind of like you name your menu. So you've got like, I don't know, it's like a little cursor, you name it. And then as you've added things to this list, you've got like, you have your recipe. So it's kind of like you've got your kale salad,
Mm-hmm.
You've got your, chicken pasta, and you've got your pumpkin pie. I don't know.
Nice.
Um,
Love pumpkin pie.
and then maybe, and then I'm just gonna like keep roughing out like super rough things, and then we can get into the details later. But after you have your menu, you sort of have like, a really easily accessible kind of like list of ingredients as you're sort of like roughing everything out. So you've got like all of your different things, and then you have your ingredients here, and then maybe there's some sort of like checklist, and it's just as you're kind of like adding items or adding like recipes to your box, you're sort of like getting ingredients, and then you're able to kind of like check them
Ooh,
off.
I love it.
Them.
Yeah, I'd love it if I was able to do that. Take multiple recipes and I get one long ingredient list.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
Because again, that alleviates the issue of trying to jump around to 4 different lists.
Yeah.
And thank you, Richie. Good points there as well.
Yep.
Timer to start. Timer when things are done.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. So I think that the whole ingredient thing is interesting. So for example, there could be a kind of thing where when the recipe is sort of like put into the system, it automatically says 6 servings or whatever, or 4 servings, and you can kind of like just kind of change what that is. We won't really worry about engineering constraints right now, but imagine there was sort of like a little input for each of these, and then it would sort of automatically update the ingredient list.
Yeah.
When you were done.
Totally.
What if your hands are dirty? I don't know. You have to wash your laptop off afterwards.
But that's also like a good point. So like, if you're using an iPad, it would actually help to have those check boxes if it's a touchscreen to be larger, for instance.
Yes, that's true. So we have to think about, so, are we on iPad, desktop? We should probably design for a sort of like iPad experience, and make sure, that everything is like really ergonomic. And then we can also think about like swiping and things like that just sort of like make it easier so that you're not actually typing.
Ooh, Ashley, voice control. Look at you, fancy.
That makes a lot of sense.
You're so good. That's such a good idea.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so let's write that down. So voice. All right, so we've got this. So let's just think about like, okay, so there's probably some sort of like, easy mobile version of this that just like shows you all of the ingredients and like an easy list that you can also just bring to the grocery store, right? So let's say that you've done that, you've bought all of your ingredients, and now we have to think about kind of like, okay, so how do you actually get into the cooking experience from here? Like maybe, so you've got your ingredient list. Maybe it's like you've checked off everything, and then once you've sort of checked off everything, there's like a button or something. This is just like an idea that sort of says, start.
Start, okay.
Or something, or like, and then maybe there's like a play button or something.
Let's cook.
Or it's like, let's cook. I like that. That's more fun. And then once you hit that, then you get into the sort of like cooking experience, right? And I feel like the most important things for the cooking experience are just like, a step-by-step approach, and then also knowing kind of like where you are. The New York Times recently had like a really cool like how to cook a Thanksgiving dinner in like 4 hours or something like that, and they had this kind of like on the bottom like a timeline where it was like, okay, so first you're on this step, right, and like these are the things that you want to do, but you still had, theirs was kind of like incomplete because it sort of like linked out to an external recipe. But it was like, okay.
I like this time.
8 a.m. you're kind of doing this, and then by like 5 p.m. you're doing that.
Yeah.
And I think that for our app we could do something kind of like similar, where but except we have like all of the steps in one. So one thing that I was thinking about was like maybe it's kind of like a vertical timeline where you have kind of like step 1, step 2, and you're sort of like, and then this particular thing is highlighted, and then so for example maybe you're making like the salad first, right, and then you have all of like the big salad steps in order, and then maybe one thing that I really like hate when I'm cooking, where is like I don't know what time it is and I don't know what like my estimated kind of like time of being done is. I'm always like, oh no, like, you know, am I really going to get done on time? This might be like a little overkill, but, you know, maybe it's like, I don't know, 3:00 p.m. right now. And then, like, according to all of the different steps, like, my sort of, like, estimated done time.
Yeah. I mean, that's in Elliot. That's exactly what Elliot mentions. Which
Oh,
you're right on the money there. You know, it's like, when is everything going to be done to be done in time?
Yeah, yeah. And so, for example,
And
like,
your guests better show up on time, by the way, as well. It's just
Yeah.
something we cannot control at this point.
that's true. I don't know if the app could solve for that.
We can.
But like, say for example, like it could tell you like, okay, so if it's unclear, Elliot, like, you know, what time you wanted to like start each of these things, it could kind of tell you, okay, you want to start this at around like, you know, 4:00. You want to start doing the roast or whatever. And I think that also like the app could do really smart things. Like, for example, if you imported like a roast recipe, like it could like make the steps, you know, I don't know, separate them out. So for example, it's like marinate the roast as one big step, and then the other step is like start the roast in the oven, but then you have a bunch of other steps for the other.
Oh,
for the other
exactly.
ingredients in
That's
between.
exactly what you need.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
if you don't have other ingredients, does it recommend a Netflix show for you to watch that's within that amount of time?
Yes.
Just enough time to watch an episode of Stranger Things or something.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. Okay, I have to write that one down actually. Okay. So. I feel
Or
like that's-
if there's just like not enough time, does it just like give you an Uber Eats number to call?
Yes.
Order.
Sorry.
You're not gonna get done in time.
Yep.
We're gonna link you out to Uber Eats or something.
Yep. Or just automatically orders you like a sad pizza.
Yeah, sad pizza.
Okay.
That's
No,
really
that's
good.
cool.
I mean, I like that. I like the whole prep the roast. It's in the oven. Like, do these other steps.
Yeah.
What's going to take a long time? What needs to be done? Because again, it's all about timing. And I love the estimated time, like you wrote down there at the bottom.
Okay.
I think it's pretty darn key. So,
Okay. Nice.
if that works for you, John Eric and Ashley and Arshag and everyone, that is the plan.
Nice. Okay, that's
So-
great. I like the analogies that people are like, you know, saying like an exercising app. When I first thought about this, it was like, okay, maybe it's like a Google Maps for cooking. 'Cause
And
it's
I
kind
love
of giving
that.
you turn-by-turn directions.
That made a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, but exercise is also like a cool analogy.
Exercise is good.
Okay, very cool. So with that, I don't know, I guess we can just sort of start like roughing out like a prototype for the iPad. And then like go from there. So this is really my first time like using XD. But let's see. Oops. So in order to create a new device, I'm pressing A for artboard, and then I'm doing an iPad, and then I'm making it in portrait. Okay, nice. And I'm also gonna close my libraries. Okay, cool. So I'm just gonna like rough out some like, you know, steps essentially. So we've got, I'm just looking at like the sketchbook. So we've got this sort of like build menu. So you're sort of building your menu.
And this is really fun, just kind of like, it's going to be fun to kind of watch you work. I know you don't usually use XD, but just to kind of see what is intuitive for you versus what you might get hung up on.
Yeah.
It's good, like,
Okay.
user experience testing we got going on.
I'm glad I can be your user experience test. One thing that I noticed actually while I was playing around with it a little bit at home is that like if you create a new text layer, it doesn't let you change the width of it unless you did this first. Is that right?
Yeah, correct. You're making a text field or text area
Versus
versus
a
just
text field.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like,
And you
that's just
can't
something-
switch between the two. Like, I wish there was a way to switch between the two.
Yeah,
actually.
yeah, because I feel like often I just kind of like, I want to be able to, you know,
Stack them.
stack them or.
Yeah, agreed. Hey, XD, get on that. We're gonna be with Talon Wadsworth tomorrow.
Yeah.
Part of the XD team. We're gonna put down a little list.
Yep. And then you have to make all of these by the end of the week, or else. Okay, so we're sort of building the menu. Then after that, we are, let's see, reviewing ingredients, and then sort of like creating servings or like editing servings. Maybe there's like an easier word for all of this. Maybe you guys have.
Yeah, let's see. Diego, you can change that with the update. Can you? Is that a new feature in the latest update? Again, things change so fast, it's even hard for me to keep up. But I'm going to try it right now.
And I'm just going to call this like turn-by-turn cooking. Great. Okay.
Turn-by-turn recipes.
Yeah, nice. Okay. So, for the menu, I feel like it could be something almost like, you know, really easy, like new user experience where it says something like maybe, you know, start building, your menu. Okay, so it could be something like, let's see, time to cook. Oops.
And if you guys are also interested, we could use a name for the app as well.
Yes. Start building your menu by adding URLs from your favorite recipe sites. You know.
Thank you so much, Diego. I'm giving you a slow clap, not too loud, because I got a mic right here. But you are exactly right. Can we switch to mine real fast? So here's my... Here's what essentially is right over here, as it's noted, point text. And if I want this to wrap to 2 lines, maybe when I have area text, I can select area text. So Diego, thank you so much, man. You guys are smarter than I am. Like, they must have just added this today, and I have not had a chance to look at it, but that actually worked. We could have used that this morning, actually, when I was with Jessica. So thank you so much for that, Diego. You're a good man. Nutrio, food prep. Thank you for the names.
Nutrio.
All right.
Okay. So, I'm also
We
thinking
can switch
about
back to you now.
iPad situation. So these are just like really rough, just trying to, and then we'll add like visual layers like afterwards, but I'm just trying to like kind of like, and then I think that there are probably like lots of different, I don't know, like ways of kind of like getting some of this stuff in. Like for example, like typing in a URL into a text box is probably not ideal. You probably want to like browse recipes that already exist on the app or something like that, or maybe there are already like some suggestions, for example. So there could even be some sort of like pre-canned menus that are like, you know, okay, select a menu or something like that. And I think that, you know, in product design, that's one of the like you're always kind of thinking about, okay, what is actually like feasible from an engineering perspective? Like, do we want to start with a lot of pre-canned recipes, or do we really want to make this for like cooks who, you know, really have their favorite recipes somewhere else and really want to like, you know, use the aggregation. And how do you
partner with like Epicurious or whoever, right?
Yeah.
And that would be great, because it's like essentially how you can post things to Twitter from other sites. What if you can post to this time to cook app and it will appear there? So I don't know.
Yeah, totally. So like it's almost like a Pinterest where like there's also like a social component and everyone's kind of seeing each other's stuff. So for now, I think I'm gonna make it so that like you're sort of like slowly building up your recipe. And I kind of like this like kind of like 2-pane thing that we had going on. Maybe it's sort of like just one big screen kind of where everything just sort of like builds up on each other. So
I like that.
So in that case, why don't we do something like this, where we have like kind of like a left pane where you have all of the recipes that you're making, that you're adding, and then you have this sort of like right pane here on the right, and then I'm just gonna, you know, make this really wireframey for now, and then this is where like your ingredient list is sort of like building up. I think this is, yeah, it is going. So let's go ahead here.
So you can do, to answer your question, you could do tracking in XD, but not specific kerning between letters. You can do tracking overall and letting, just FYI.
Okay. So I'm just thinking about like, kind of like a new user experience where like, you're typing in the URL, maybe you have this sort of like, button to submit or whatever. Let's just make it, red for now, why not? Paste URL. Something like that.
Yeah, it's always...
Oops.
Matthew, thank you for the suggestion. By the way, under help in XD is how you can get to all the various provide feedback, essentially. Ooh, can you actually change that from red to like a blue, or because it kind of flickers on the...
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I don't know if other people are seeing that, but just a little off would be... Or blue. Yeah. Blue. Oh, blue, green. That's nice. Oh, wait, that. Oh, wait.
You like the green?
I think it was... I like them all. Whatever you want. I like the blue, too. Okay. I like that soft blue. It's nice.
Let's do this soft blue. Okay, so say that we've sort of... So this is like kind of like our new user experience, and that's sort of like what I like to start with, just kind of thinking, what is like the overall like, system? So we've got like URLs, and we're kind of like adding things. And then we can kind of see... Okay. So let's just say that, so you've added maybe like, a recipe or something like that, and you've got now this kind of like image.
Mm-hmm.
We can, maybe this is like a good opportunity to use the library.
Oh, yeah.
So let's go to view. What is this?
Under file.
CC libraries. Yeah, nice. So I'm just going to see if this works. Oh my god, it's amazing. It just works.
You know what I love about what you're doing is you tackle this like a real pro. Like, I know you've never really used it, but you are like, you look like you've been working in it for ages, which is so crazy.
It's very intuitive. Like, I think that especially like the keyboard shortcuts and everything, I think what's really interesting is that I've used a lot of different tools. Like, we used Sketch for a while, but then started doing my design career like in Photoshop, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there are a number of keyboard shortcuts, especially switching to the pointer by tapping V, that I've used so many times, like for years, but haven't used it and I just like have naturally just been able to like go back to doing that, which is kind of funny. But yeah.
Yes, submissions are open for the name of the app, such as Kitchen Ninja. I'm not sure what it has to do with ninjas, but gotta love them.
Yes.
I love ninjas. Hey, we want to be like a ninja.
I want to be like it's like Food Ninja, but like, Kitchen Ninja.
Or like the, is there like a blender that's a ninja? There probably is. Who knows?
There probably is. I feel like I've actually heard of it. I'm just trying to select this little 6 so that I can make it blue to be like, look, you can edit this 6. Okay.
You can underline it, which it took about a year to get the underlining squared away, but it's really smart how it works.
Really? Okay.
Because if you underline something with like a G that has a, kind of dips down below the line, it will skip the G and just does get. It's pretty intelligent.
Interesting. So I'm actually not underlining it. I'm just using like a line because I wanted to like, make it kind of, editable like that or whatever.
Nice and elegant.
But yeah, I don't know.
Food book.
Food book?
Food book, like Facebook.
Oh, food book.
Like Facebook.
That's cute. Okay. I actually really like Sous Chef too. My Sous Chef. It is because it's like your little assistant.
Sous Chef.
Yeah.
I gotta be writing these down.
Yes, must write down. So there's also this the grid feature, which seems really cool. So I'm just gonna group this, and then I'm going to actually before I do that. Let me ungroup that actually first. Let me do this, just to make sure this is really long. Another feature that I'm not sure that XD has, is there a, what's it called? A copy layer style feature?
There is.
Oh, okay.
You want to copy like that text style?
Yeah, like for example.
So if you right click and then you'll select copy.
Uh-huh.
And then when you go to another text element,
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
you'll select paste appearance.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it just threw me off that there was no like copy style, but you just copy period and then yeah, that's cool. Okay, great. All right, so we're continuing the sort of like rough wireframing. So we've got our kale salad, 6 servings, and I think that like I feel like it's also nice to have like other metadata for like where the recipe came from or whatever. So maybe this like 6 servings thing actually goes somewhere here so that it's kind of like easy to edit, but then like there's kind of this metadata for where it came from. Like so maybe this came from like epicurious.com or whatever, and that's actually like pretty decent spot or style for it already. Okay, great. So we've got this kind of thing going on. I've grouped it. Now I'm going to make repeat grid with it, and then I'm just gonna go like this. Oh my god, that's crazy. It's so easy.
That is pretty easy.
Okay, and then
I'm like an old pro. I don't believe that you're new to this. You're pretty good.
I played around for like maybe an hour, but that's it. Okay, so say we're like building our thing. So I'm gonna so what I like to do is I really like to do things step by step. So for example, got kale salad, and then I've added a bunch of this other stuff. So then maybe, it's like, oops. I know it's going to change everything. Oh, and so say I changed it on this artboard. Is it going to change it on this artboard as well? No, it doesn't. That's interesting. So it only goes. I think that's right. That's what it should be doing. So let's see. I want to make a kale salad. Then I want to make like a chicken pasta, and then maybe I want to do like a roast beef or something like that. So let's just kind of go with these things that we. Chicken pasta. Yeah. Okay. So 6 servings. Say that we want to, like, for the chicken pasta, like, I've got some, like, I don't know, carb-conscious friends, so I only want to make 3 of them or something. Let's make the chicken pasta from, like, I don't know, allrecipes.com. And then we'll make the roast beef from, like, amyskitchenblog.com, which is another thing.
Is that a real thing?
I don't know. I'm just always on people's individual chicken blogs. Kitchen blogs, chickens on the mind. Okay, so another thing that we haven't done yet here is we haven't really like started like roughing out the ingredients yet. So, we've kind of got this like little ingredients panel that's here, and we want to start like kind of putting the ingredients. So say for kale salad, like the ingredients are, 1 bunch of kale, and then let's do the repeat grid for this guy as well. Let's see, 1 bunch of kale.
I'm writing down all the names everybody's submitting for.
Oh, nice, perfect. Also, is there what is the keyboard shortcut for editing color or for like getting to the color palette?
Keyboard shortcut for it.
Maybe there.
Because you just want to be able to open it up.
Yeah, like for example, like I've selected this text and now I want to change its color.
I'm gonna have to see what I can do.
Yeah, no worries.
I don't know.
No worries.
And I'm working on a PC. It's a little different.
Totally. Okay, so that again, I'm just like really roughing this out and not paying too much. How cute. Okay, so I'm gonna group this again. I'm gonna create a repeat grid out of it, and then I'm gonna go like this. Okay, so we've got our ingredients. So for this particular, for the kale thing, probably not too many ingredients. Maybe for the dressing, there's a lot of stuff. So for example, like, 1 cup olive oil. That's too much olive oil. 1/3 of a cup olive oil. I'm totally making all this up. Salt, pomegranate seeds. Pomegranate. Let's just not worry about.
I like it.
Let's see. Grated cheese. Of course, salt and pepper should probably be together. Yeah, salt, pepper. Okay, and then I don't know, curry powder. Okay, and then, so we've got like our little ingredients guy over here. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna like copy it and paste it here, and then pretend that, I've added a bunch of other ingredients, and it's sort of like going all the way down, and like maybe we're actually like kind of able to scroll in this like in this guy or whatever. Okay, cool.
So yeah, Cece, it's cc.is if you want to check out your work.
Yeah.
That's your website. So cece.is.
Yeah, let me know if you guys have any questions.
There it is. Well, shout out to her. You can stalk her on social media.
Yeah, for sure. We can follow all of my chickens. The chickens, like, I'm just gonna show that this is like, scrollable or whatever.
Your chickens have Twitter?
They
it
are
should.
not on Twitter.
It's bird related. I mean, Twitter, chickens.
Okay, so we already have.
They have a lot of foul language. Stop.
No, they're not. They don't have foul language, but they're always in foul moods.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. Okay.
I love it.
So we already did this step.
Dinnered. Vlad, that's my favorite so far. Dinnered.
Dinnered. Yeah, I like that. I like that it's like one word, and it's just kind of like, because I feel like all apps should have like, nice catchy one word names.
I like it too.
Okay, so let's talk about this kind of like turn by turn cooking kind of thing. So, I don't know. Yes, alt. Okay.
Food Tinder.
Food Tinder.
Appetito.
Appetito.
That's fun to say.
Yeah, that's cute.
Appetito.
Okay. So let's see. Maybe at first I wanted to put the button like on this ingredients panel, but now I really don't think that makes sense. I feel like it should go, somewhere.
Well, it's kind of. I like how it aggregates it all, right? Do we want that?
Yeah, I think this is good. I mean, what I'm thinking is maybe there's this sort of like, once you've checked everything, maybe. So once all of these guys are checked, there's like this big kind of panel that just kind of like pops up.
Okay.
And is sort of like, start cooking now, or like, do you have everything? Like, start cooking. I don't know. So.
Ooh, I like fair. Good job, Courtney.
Oh, that's cute.
Grub.
I'm just gonna make like a little button. Is there another one that was really funny?
Hangry.
Hangry. And then so after we pick one, we can also have like a logo contest.
Yeah.
Sounds fun. Okay, let's go ahead and keep using blue for these things.
Yeah, we're gonna basically how this is gonna work is the start cooking is gonna pop up at the base of the browser, regardless of where the base is. So it's not gonna be off the screen or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make up something to get us out of a jam. Because it'd be like an overlay. Hey, you have everything? Hey, boom.
Yeah. Okay. Or like have all your ingredients, or yeah.
Vlad, you have a great. Vlad, we like dinnered. I think that's pretty. And appetito.
Yeah, dinner
Are
and
just
appetito.
fun to say.
Yeah.
You know.
Those are super cute.
Dinner genie.
Dinner genie. That's cool. Okay.
Salt and prepare.
Salt and prepare.
Not really.
Okay, so let's see. So let's say that this person has everything. I'm just gonna put like, just check marks inside each of these guys really fast. So pen tool, P. Okay.
And then escape, yeah.
Okay, nice. Okay, and then just to like play around, can you like round the?
I wish you could, and I was thinking you were going to mention that.
Okay.
And
no
I wish
worries.
that was a thing.
No worries, no worries. Okay.
Dinner winner. Vlad, you just have all the good suggestions. Dinner winner.
Dinner winner. Nice. Okay. I like how I've like automatically
Fed.
just like checked everything. That's lovely. Lovely. Okay. So we've checked everything.
Trying not to get political here, so I don't know if I'm going to use Fed.
Yeah, we've got to stay PC. Okay, that's right. I didn't need this. Okay, so we're gonna start cooking. I think what we're gonna do here, I'm just trying to envision kind of like the way materially, like all of these kind of like layers work with one another, right? So I feel like the way that I'm thinking about the ingredient list right now is it's sort of like sitting in the background. And then I'm thinking that when you start cooking, like the left panel just sort of like, takes over the entire screen or whatever, and then you kind of get into cooking mode. I don't know if we can prototype that in XD, but like just kind of like to just think about like how the layers kind of work.
Yeah.
So like imagine that like the white thing sort of like starts overtaking the entire menu, and now you're in cooking mode. So when you're in cooking mode, we've got, let's see. I'm just gonna rough things out. So I'm actually gonna go to like a recipe. Can I just go to like my browser and then just be like
Table fare. Good.
epicurious.com and then just look for like kale salad. Oh wow, they have full screen search. Okay, the trick to better kale salad is in your hands. Yes, kale salad, you've never seen it before. No, I want a menu, that's right. I don't want a blog. Okay, kale salad. Okay. Alrighty. So I'm just gonna like take like okay. Preheat the oven. Wow, it's a really intense kale salad.
Yeah, no kidding. It's a salad.
It's just a salad. Why do I have to use the oven?
So
Gosh,
Ryan
guys.
Ford, I can't. You know what? That sort of question. If you guys, Ryan's asking about exporting XD to PSD. And honestly, it's kind of like you're almost going the wrong way with it, because essentially you need to get this in developers' hands, all the assets. But those are the sort of questions you should ask us tomorrow from 3 to 5, when I'm with Talon, and we're going to try to pry all that information out of him. So, but good question. Live cook, I like it.
Live cook. That's cute. Okay.
Season.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Vlad says PSD to XD would be brilliant. That's kind of more. Yeah, perfect.
I'm curious about. Okay, one thing that I'm noticing, like kind of from like the design perspective, is that we're sort of like limited to the, if we're sort of like scraping this stuff from like all of the different websites, we're sort of limited to like really long paragraphs that are like, to me also like reading long paragraphs is really annoying. And so I don't know, like we can't really like avoid that in some ways, but I feel like you can do things like, bold all of the ingredients, so at least you know what you're working with at each process. And so maybe there's a way that like the app can just like read each of these things, and then sort of
like skim it and highlight
things.
That would be really awesome. And I like how you're doing that too.
Let's see.
So I wanted to show you, since you're scrolling off of it a little bit, you can make that a scrollable page. If you want
nice.
to.
Okay.
So just select iPad 7, the title, and actually, and then just grab the bottom bar and stretch it down.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Oh, nice.
And so there's the fold, but you're still able to scroll farther.
That's awesome. Okay, that's fantastic. Great. So that sounds great. That also helps me visualize exactly what's going on this page, so I can think about it a little bit. You were also saying, when you mentioned like iPad 6, I feel like, okay, I should probably take some time to actually name all of these things, like nice things. So
you know what, I like it though, because you were working exactly how anybody would work.
Yeah,
You're rushing through, you're throwing stuff together. Things don't get named, they get messy, they get off of like, your artboard and all that stuff. So I'm all for it. Chef-tastic. Sarah, you are chef-tastic. Thanks for the suggestion. I have quite a few suggestions here. Chef-tastic. Martin with Whisk. W-H-I-S-K. I like Whisk.
Okay.
Whisk just sounds fast.
Yeah.
That's why.
I like that because that's what we're doing here. We're really just like making everything like super easy and fast. That's what the app is doing. So to select, can I select? Oh, that's right. I don't need to because it's all one thing, and so there's no need to. That's wonderful. Okay, and then I can also make this
the
short.
Daily Mail.
Interesting. Okay. Now I'm feeling like I've made these two. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm realizing that I want to actually create like another column here. So like the white thing has come over, and now we have kind of this new cooking panel where we have like we have the directions here, and then over here we have the overall steps of the process. And so I think what I want to do is I want to keep the overall. I'll make this guy.
Because you're now in the cooking phase, right? Is that correct?
Yep. So now you're in the cooking phase. And so what I want to do is I'm going to just sort of be like, okay, first step, prepare the kale salad. Prepare kale salad. And I feel like, so that's one thing.
Sarah votes for Whisk. Courtney, you like Whisk too?
Like marinate. Marinate the chicken. Maybe that's something you also need to do.
Foodle.
Foodle.
What is this?
How about I was like foodle,
Herbert's.
foodly.
Foodle. Foodle just sounds hilarious.
It's like a foodle, but
Foodle. Did you just foodle me? That's what it sounds like. Don't you dare foodle me. So. Excuse me. I really like how you use the repeat grid
for everything.
Yeah, so they work.
Yeah, I'm like realizing that maybe I'm trying to move too fast. Where I'm like, no, there are other things I also want to put inside this group, and it'll be easier if I just create the group first.
No.
C season. Okay, prepare kale salad. Just trying to think. So, maybe we don't need other things in there. Because I was thinking, do you need like the amount of time that it'll take, or do you need like the servings, six servings, or?
Yeah, I think you would have already identified that up at the top, so I wouldn't include it now.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but I think that the numbers 1, 2, 3 mean less to me. What means more to me is, like, I'm thinking back to the whole idea of you having that vertical timeline.
Yeah. Yep. So okay, I'm trying to create an oval because I was just thinking about timeline too.
Concoction.
Oh.
Yes, thank you, Oscar. Good call. Approximate time each step. That could work. But, like, I'm assuming that you actually entered in the time you wanted it done, which would be like 7 p.m. Do you roll backward from there? So it would be like 5:05 p.m. sort of deal.
Yeah, totally.
So.
Yeah. So let's say you've got maybe right now there's like this sort of current time. And it's
Sarah's gonna send you a message on Instagram at 3 a.m. with the new,
Oops, sorry.
I got it. I got the perfect name.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's Cece Yu for noodle. I don't know. It's gonna be something ridiculous. Do you ever do that? You ever wake up like, that was such a good idea, and then you wake up the next day and you're like, that was so dumb.
Definitely, all the time.
You know, or you like when you say something out loud and you're like, that is such a dumb idea.
Yes, all the time. I don't know. I'm just kind of playing around. Estimated end time, or sorry, estimated completion. I don't know.
Rebecca, I like how you think. Very smart. Yeah, reverse engineer the time. And Martin, that's something we'll have to think about. Sort of next level is the voice commands for this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yep. Yeah. So how? Yeah. Let's keep thinking about voice commands in the back of our head, I guess. So one thing that I'm just trying to quickly make here. This kind of reminds me of like a subway. There's still a lot of transportation kind of-y.
Herbert, you asked a question. Why would you want to build a prototype in XD versus Illustrator? Good question. I could answer that. Because you can't really prototype in Illustrator. You can design in Illustrator, but you're not linking anything together, essentially. Mm-hmm. But Herbert, honestly, like, if you're faster, like, designing in Illustrator, by all means, like, design in Illustrator, and you could literally, like, copy and paste that stuff into XD and really just use XD for the prototyping capabilities if you want to. I will say that, you know, Illustrator does a fantastic job. It does some things that XD can't do. Like, we wanted to, you know, round the stroke at the end for our checkboxes, and we weren't able to do that. So, just a little FYI there.
Oh, okay. I wanted to make one of these things, like just one of them blue, but then of course all of them became blue. So that's like another interesting thing. Okay. Marinate the chicken.
Jean-Eric, I'm reading your comments, buddy. Yours get really, 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 really silly. They almost make me kind of groan a little sometimes. Like, oh.
What are the comments?
I don't know. I don't remember. They're just so ridiculous. I'm like, oh. But you're a good man. I appreciate you.
So one thing that I like to do a lot with all the chicken eggs that we get is like make pasta. So I'm going to pretend that this person is actually like hand making the pasta.
We're really, this is a very, it's, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Not, you have an ulterior motive with this, because really you're just figuring out ways to use eggs.
Yeah.
Really what this app should be called is ways to use eggs.
Ways to use eggs.
Because you're constantly like, there's so many eggs. What do I do with them?
Yep.
I got to put them in stuff. I got to get, do your neighbors get eggs? People around you? Some people are
yeah.
not.
Oh yeah, everyone
And
gets
hopefully
eggs
not on the side of their house.
No, we don't throw the eggs. We put them in a cute container and give them to them. Okay, I'm trying to like come up with like a clever, ranking of or stacking of all of the different steps, but I'm sort of like coming up short. I think one other thing that like step that we sort of missed here actually, is kind of like this notion of like prep time actually. So like I feel like you have all of the ingredients, like, and you sort of we haven't like, chopped them or whatever, or like, I don't know. And so maybe we should be saying like, okay, so maybe you've actually collected all of the parsley, but make sure you chop this amount of parsley, you chop this amount of things, like kind of like put together
the prep.
Like the prep. There's like the French term for it that I don't know how to pronounce properly, but I don't know.
Which could be a name for the app if we could only think of that word.
I know how to spell it, but like it's like mise en place or something. Is it? Yeah, anyway. But
so to answer your question, I can't scroll up to see who just asked this, but the difference between, and I know Tim's answering this difference between say XD and Muse. Honestly, you could use Muse. Muse, you're obviously actually making something in HTML. You could literally use Muse to make your prototype if you want to. So if you know it already, hey, use Muse. So that's my 2 cents there.
Yeah. So you mentioned that like the numbers weren't as helpful to you, which I think is a good piece of feedback.
The numbers weren't helpful to me. The timing would be helpful to me.
Yeah.
I want to know if I'm ahead or behind.
Yeah, totally. So maybe what we need to do for each of these particular things is actually the estimated time for each of them. So for example, we've got prepare kale salad, and maybe this is
so
happening
good.
at 3 o'clock p.m.
I just love watching you. So good. So good.
That means a lot. I feel like you watch lots of designers all the
Well,
time.
I appreciate, like, even somebody's mentioned, like, how long have you been a designer, by the way?
Oh, I've been designing since, I mean, I was like a hobbyist designer in college. I was studying economics, but I was sort of a hobbyist designer, and then worked on a bunch of little startups, and then I got my first real design job my first year out of college. So I've been designing for about 6 years professionally. Let's see. And then maybe you're marinating the chicken at like 3:30.
I like watching you watch. Like, I mean, just like you handle with this with such confidence. It's nice. I mean, you're thinking through the process and designing at the same time, and so we're moving through this. So I would say Facebook's lucky to have you.
Oh, that's so
right?
nice.
No, I'm not just saying that. I'd say they're definitely lucky to have you.
Unfortunately, I'm not making any recipe apps over there.
I seriously think this app should just be called, like, what do I do with all the eggs? That's what the app should be. What do I do with all the eggs? Because that's really the problem we're trying to solve.
Yes.
We'll call it Eggcellent. Just kidding. Bad. No, we're going to get lots of all the egg puns.
Oh, snap.
And chicken puns.
Love chicken puns. Okay, so let me think. I'm trying to think what else are we missing. So we have the sort of current time. We have the estimated completion. Okay, and then now we need to figure out, okay, so the things that we're missing are sort of like this, like, current, like, you know, a way to show whether we're current on, like, a certain step or whatever. So I'm just gonna, like, pretend that we're here on the first step, and then we're gonna make this blue or whatever. Okay. Oops. Great. Prepare kale salad. And then we need like a next button, so maybe like some sort of like, I don't know. It's like an iPad app, right? So we want to like make everything like super big and easy to tap. So like, I don't know, maybe there's this kind of like big floating action button or whatever. I know that these are mostly used for like adding something, but or maybe it makes sense to go.
And what's the big blue dot for? Sorry.
The big, this one?
Okay, so that's just kind of where you're at.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's just where you're at. I was just thinking of like, you know, how do you kind of like go next in the, you know, where's the next button?
You know what I would almost want to see is like this being a checkbox. So as soon as I hit check on it, does it go to the next one?
Yeah. I think so. I think that's a good idea. And so, because right now we're on the first step, but like but then once we sort of like exit.
Once we hit next, is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Once we hit next, then it'll sort of like be checked off or whatever. So let's go ahead and put like the next button here. I guess that's not so bad. So let's go ahead and like kind of just make. So let's make that check thing a reality.
So Priyasha, you can't import XD files into Muse. You can't really import or export XD files into anything else. You can export graphics from XD. You can import graphics into XD, but that's going to be like, you know, your typical SVG, PNG, and JPEG. So, where do you? Ariana's asking where you get your inspiration.
Oh, I mean, I think, you know, in the olden days, I think I would go to Dribbble a lot, right? And just, you know, browse all the nice looking things. But I think that these days I just try to like use as many apps as possible, and I could definitely like be using more apps and like trying out more new apps.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like, you know, inspiration is really in the experience. But it's definitely tempting to get a lot of inspiration from like kind of, you know, just like the cool fancy stuff that people share as well. So
yeah, no, it's good. And I think just the simple fact that you're interested in other things. Like you like cooking, you like, I think I saw, was it rock climbing? Is what I saw, you know, and all this stuff like, you know, and then it just opens you up to this other world or ways of working, which I've heard that about plenty of people. It's like you want to be a good designer, get involved in other things, and it all kind of gets integrated into your design somehow. So I think that's really kind of cool. So yeah, we can. So we'll let you work for a second. You need us because I think we can do giveaway real fast.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. Okay, sounds great.
Sweet. Thank you, Adobe Live team. Let's do a giveaway. We just need a little hype in the chat. Just let us know that you're there. Say something in the chat. Participate in the chat, and essentially that's how you get entered to win a fantastic, one-of-a-kind poster from one of these amazing illustrators, Christina Heron, Jing Wei, or Rob Generett. And even, guess what? You guys mentioned the socks. We can give you the socks too. Right? You like these? You like those? XD or PX, depending on if you're upside down and with your feet in the air or not. But these are also included, so just be like, hey, love them. Hey, Cece, you're fantastic. Hey, Cece, give me some eggs. Or whatever it is.
We should be having
I don't know.
Hey.
Hype for socks. Excellent.
Okay, there's one other thing that I want to play around with, which is actually this, like, you know, this kind of like edge case, you know. So as you're sort of designing, I feel like you come up with these sort of like, oh, okay, well, what happened if this happened, and then you sort of like create a screen for that. So for example, maybe it's like you were supposed to marinate the chicken at 3:30 p.m., but now it's like 4:30 p.m. because you spent way too much time preparing the kale salad or watching Stranger Things or whatever. And so like what would happen there? Like obviously like maybe your estimated completion time just becomes like 9:30 or something. But like as designers, I feel like we're thinking about how are people feeling as these things are sort of like changing underneath them. And for example, like there's a decision, you can either like make things like the really heavy decision would be to make things glow red and be like, watch out, you're about to like,
It's stressful.
Yeah, it's like
I'm like, I'm
stressful.
already having too many things going on. I'm like working with heat and
right, exactly.
sharp objects. And
Yeah. And I think it just depends on like what your goals are. For example, like if it's to like really make sure that you're getting things done on time, maybe there are a few things that you should do to like tell people, but maybe not. I think that the more we think about this, it doesn't matter. Like people are just trying to get things done in order, and like this is fine as long as you have like this estimated completion date that's getting like, I don't know, that's still very visible.
How do you deal with that? And maybe it just kind of changes. It's a tough one.
Yep. I think just changing is good, and I'm just gonna.
And thank you. You know what? I think I'm going to. I seriously think I need to make some socks and put them in the Adobe store, like with, as somebody just mentioned, of like all the various mnemonics as they're called.
What would you?
Felicia knows how to win. She's like, Adobe is awesome. That's how you win. No, just not. Not really what you say. We just need to know that you're here, and we thank you guys for being so kind and hanging out with us, especially Cece's first time.
Yeah,
and I
thanks,
could just
guys.
I feel like just sitting here and watching you, I'm like, you're
Let me know.
just super impressive, and I will shut up.
Let me know if you guys want me to like, I don't know, do anything else, move faster, or like, I don't know, do something crazy.
No,
illustration.
The thing we want from you is like just to kind of see how you work. Like that's the big thing. It's just like, let's peek under the hood and just like see how somebody like solves problems. Like we're all just trying to figure things out. So that's the biggest thing that we're getting from you. Seriously, like thoroughly impressed.
Very cool.
You
Okay.
know?
So
We just gotta do something with these eggs. We're
Yeah,
actually
totally.
we're slowly figuring this out. The Adobe Live team is getting it all squared away. All 58 of them going through, double checking each and every person's name, doing a background check, which is why we have so many people. And I don't see it yet. Oh, it's flashing.
It's like a doorbell. Whoa.
It's flashing. Ariana loves eggs and socks.
Well, it's Sarah Beckett.
Oh, Sarah Beckett. I might be saying your name wrong, but Sarah Beckett. Sarah, congratulations. Sarah Beckett. Oh, there we go. Beckett. Thank you so much. Adobe Live team. Awesome. Congratulations. You win a fantastic poster and you get to keep your feet warm. Look at that. I'm jealous, everybody. Look at this. Look at these.
So jealousy inducing.
This is soft. It's soft too. So Sarah, those are all yours. Congratulations, Sarah Beckett. Just let us. Oh, there you are. Sweet. You are welcome, Sarah. Whoop, whoop. So again, this happens every hour. Basically, we're doing a giveaway. Some randomly, like we just did, and some based on the contest. So congratulations, Sarah. We're going to be contacting you through Behance. Hopefully, everybody's watching on behance.net/live. And we still have the contest, which is all about essentially public transportation. So this is your other way to win, which is create an app with 3 artboards about public transportation, add those interactions, post it, hit that share button essentially, and take that link and post it to the bit.ly. And again, this is in the contest tab. And thank you everybody who's hung out with us today and also created something today. I think it's pretty awesome.
Okay, so I know, so there are like a few things that we haven't quite done yet with the app, which is like, I think the whole like timer thing, for example, we haven't really quite figured out, for example. So maybe there's like this like little thing that kind of like pops up after you've like put maybe you've put like the beef in the oven or whatever, and like there's this like little, let's see, there's this sort of like beef timer that pops up at the bottom of the screen or whatever that's like time until beef is done. I don't know.
You know what yeah, that's interesting.
Also open to other suggestions.
Yeah, I almost want to, like, I know we have these things in order, like, is there a way to kind of know where everything's at in the process? And is that too complex?
So I think that...
or is there like a percentage? I don't know. It's just so wild.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, like a percentage. So I think that like, so say that you're like halfway through. Let's make another screen for this. So say you're like, oops. Say you've finished. Say you're like right here or something. You've marinated. You've put the beef actually all the way here. So you've put the beef in the oven.
That. Never mind. You have it all squared.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well,
okay.
I mean, I like this at a glance. Yeah, it's perfect. Like I didn't know if it scrolled down, but I like being able to see everything in progression. So that totally works for me.
Yeah. So this is really rough, but so like say you've already checked all of those things, and now you sort of like now you're at the mix. You've put it in the oven, but now you have this sort of like beef in oven kind of like thing that's kind of like floating around somewhere.
You know what I'd want? I'd want that tied to that particular checkbox.
Oh, okay,
or that timer, like as in,
right.
Even if it's just some, exclamation points, and if the time, because this 5 p.m. meet, isn't necessary once you've moved on past that step. Is that 5 p.m. necessary?
Yeah, no, you're totally right. So, for example, you can kind of change this to like
cooking like
4 left or something, and then this could be oops, of course it's changing the color of everything. Oh no. Okay.
So this is a case where you might have to,
I think I'll just
you could break it apart at this point now if you want to.
That's true. So how do you do that? You just
just with it selected, go up to ungroup.
Yeah, okay, nice. Okay, so put beef in oven, so we'll just be like 0 this much left, and then we'll have like a some sort of like color for it or something like that, and then we can also just make it.
You can still use red if you want to, just can't be a true red, just FYI.
Let's not make it. Let's do, yeah, it's sort of
That's
nice.
nice. Yeah.
Maybe we can bold it or something. Okay, and I sort of like, I wish there were almost like a little icon or something that like showed that it was like cooking or something like that, like instead of a check mark, because you haven't really quite finished it yet. It's sort of like a, I don't know, what's like a good icon for cooking or something.
Flame?
Oh yeah, I like that. That's cool.
I helped.
Design is an incredibly collaborative process.
Yay. Maybe I can try to knock something out for you.
Can you make a flame icon for me?
Yes.
That would be amazing. Thank you.
You got it.
Okay. Perfect.
You got it.
Okay, great. I feel like maybe while you're doing that, I'll just try to like put all of these steps together or something and see how we feel about them. And then, okay, so I'm gonna try out this prototype tab for the first time ever. Okay. So, to make it go to the next screen, what do? Do you, so I want like to tap this guy and then go to this screen. That is a wonderful flame.
Thank you.
Oh, right, sorry, I'm in the design.
I don't know,
Okay.
maybe it should be done. Like, are you saying, because you get to enter in, I see. what
Sorry,
you're saying.
I was
Yeah.
just asking about that. And then
Oh,
I
yeah, you got
realized
it.
that I was on the wrong tab. I was on the design tab.
Thank you, Oscar. Oscar also chimed in. He's like, switch to prototype.
Thank you.
You got it, buddy. Thank you.
Such a noob.
Oh, Rebecca, it is after midnight. That's no reason to stop watching, by the way, just because it's after midnight. I want to know who is up the latest. Like, is anybody watching where it's past midnight, in a time zone where it's past midnight? Just out of curiosity. 3 a.m. Martin. Wow. Vlad, 1:17 a.m. Technically, it's always past midnight, Sarah. No wonder you won, you smarty pants. All right. Yeah, Toronto, gotta love Benjamin, 1 a.m. Sarah, I'm curious as to where you live. And by that, I mean your exact address. Just kidding. I just made it really creepy.
Never.
Because you know what? We have a lot of eggs with us.
We'd like to give you some egg. We would, yeah. Tell us exactly.
We're just giving you some eggs.
Yeah.
You were supposed to catch them, but you weren't outside. No, have you ever egged anyone's house? I never have. I don't think I ever have. Have you really?
No,
you haven't. I don't think I ever have.
I have toilet paper at someone's tree.
Oh, toilet paper. But that's like in good. That's like kind of almost like depending on who it is.
It was like a friend, and it was like, they knew.
Yeah, it's kind of a term of endearment. It's like, hey, you're, you know what I'm saying? Like kind of when you have a nickname for someone, it's like, hey, you're.
Right.
Or you pick on someone, it's kind of a term of endearment.
Yeah. Ugh. Okay. Let's see. So how do we preview this prototype on? Can we preview it on an iPad? Is that something that
we can? What we can do is we can go ahead and just get an iPhone cable, and just preview. Oh, you want to preview it on iPad? Yeah, we can totally do that.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
We just need an iPhone cable.
Or we can just preview it on here, honestly.
Oh wow, look at you! Oh, Chris to the rescue. No, we're doing this.
Well, that's okay. Nice.
I might need a second to
No worries.
get an iPad.
Well, while that's happening, I'm just gonna like kind of play or like watch this happen, and it's kind of nice to watch it like on a screen that's kind of very far away over there, actually, like on the screen, because then it feels like, you know, I don't know, more realistic for some reason. Oh, and is there a way to make like separate scrolling panels?
Not separate, which I like where your head's at, and kind of what you're talking about. There's the micro interaction, which we're like totally on board with, which is we're just kind of waiting for.
Okay, got it. So say
I gotta grab an iPad. Hold on, was it? I think I'll just grab mine because I have the password for it.
Yeah, okay. So I like the way this is like starting to feel. I'm just gonna go through this one more time. So we've got like time to cook, and of course I think the first thing is kind of like this copy of course sucks, and we'll have to think about, you know, the visual layer eventually. But we're sort of like, you know, you're kind of like upticking this. One thing that I'm realizing is that it'd be awesome to just sort of like have a little toggle with the plus and minus button or whatever to just kind of like add and delete servings or whatever. So we've added other recipes. Now we have more of those. I'm just gonna write down some of this like self-feedback I have as I like do my own usability. I'm just gonna be like toggle, serving toggle. Okay, serving toggle, blah blah blah. We've figured out all of our ingredients. We're gonna start cooking. Great, current time. So one thing is I think that like this whole thing is like super blah, and like, you know, for example, I only need to see like one step at a time. Like, why don't I just like highlight that one main step or whatever, and then just sort of like be able to swipe to different things. So I'm gonna write that down too, like swipe steps on recipe. Okay, so marinating chicken, that seems fine. Checkmark seems fine, and then photos is totally right. I saw someone do that. Photos is totally right. Okay. Okay, great. So I'm just gonna like.
That's a good name for a nap. Nom nom.
Yeah, I like nom nom too.
I'm surprised nobody said that.
I think someone mentioned it briefly. Whoops. Whoa. Photos. Okay, so. I'm just gonna, oops, design.
Actually, we might be able to try this. I think.
Oh, okay, great. Let's do it.
I mean, I'm not 100% sure this work because I think we have to probably have the same Adobe ID, and we actually have. Let's check on time. 4:23. We have about 20 minutes. Before we review all the designs you guys have submitted, all the prototypes, which is awesome.
Cool.
So we'll show that in a little bit. So thank you so much, guys, for putting that work in. Food CC, of course, would be great. Hit this little button right here. I don't know if it will. Oh, yeah. There I am. Go ahead and click on that bad boy.
Oh, very cool. Oh.
Is it? Oh. Yeah, it should be doing its thing.
Quintessential syncing problem.
And it might be a case where basically, oh, there we go. It just took a
nice.
second. So we'll even just like, if you guys don't mind, we'll go kind of lo-fi and just show you with the handy GoPro.
Nice.
And you can kind of click through this if you don't mind.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, let me kind of get that. There we go. Sweet.
Okay, perfect. So I'm just gonna like, you know, tap that. Okay, this is cool. Sort of starting to like kind of. Is there an easy way to go back into a screen?
Try swiping. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Okay, so adding another recipe. Great. Okay, and then one thing I realized is that we actually need like a start button. From this page, so like maybe I don't actually want to use all of this like stupid ingredient thing.
This is really good. I'm glad we're doing this because like this is one of those things that as you start prototyping, we're like realizing we need a start button.
Yeah.
It's perfect. There we go.
This just needs to be available all the time, I think. But okay, and then so we want to make that bigger. Okay, we've got this. I think that, as you sort of like play with things on an app here, you sort of start to realize like, the scale, scale matters. I think like right now, for example, like, there could be a little more contrast, I think, between like what you're sort of focusing on and kind of like the stuff that's in the background. So I think that'll definitely like happen once we start like removing some of these steps and only making you do one step at a time.
Yeah, or at least having like some of it sort of like grayed out, but giving you a priority of the 3 items to focus on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Because I don't mind seeing what came before and what's going to come after, but I want to focus on, say, step number 2.
Yeah, I like that. So I think.
So this is good. All right. Yeah, we'll switch back to your screen.
Let me just give an example of that. Actually, because I really like that idea, so I just want to like try it out. So for example.
Yeah, nobody believes you, by the way, Cece. Like, because you're working so well, we're thinking. We're convinced that you're part of the Adobe XD development team here. We're just convinced.
Oh my goodness. Definitely. So like this, for example, like kind of like that. And so now that when we see it here, that actually feels really nice now on the iPad.
Yeah. And look, we just like did that. We're still connected, and we'll just switch back over. Sorry, Chris, if you don't mind. Zoop.
Yeah.
But again, it happened so fast. It took us longer to switch to the GoPro, but that feels pretty good.
Yeah. I think that feels awesome. And I can imagine sort of like as you're swiping, there's just sort of like. Poop,
and this goes down to like the design fundamentals. Like you need a primary to focus on. There's a primary. The secondary is actually this menu off to the side. Is almost how I feel, which is kind of how it should be, because once we check off something, we can move on to the next step. So this is super cool.
Okay, great. Okay, and then of course that'll be updated up next. Okay, great. So, so I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna do what would be most fun, like, because we could like, do some of these updates. We can add like a big photo. Let's do that. So let's add like a photo to this screen, and then I'll like quickly put in some toggles here, and then after that maybe we can spend a few minutes just sort of like brainstorming on like the visual look and feel, thinking about fonts and thinking about like colors or something like that. I don't know, just to
that's
kind of
good.
like have a
and yeah, I think that's just like something we'll kind of have to brainstorm.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we don't want to necessarily add pictures just to add pictures.
Right.
Like, to some degree, it hardly needs it. Like, it could use it in some small places, but I don't see this as being too visually, like, overstimulating. I like how clean it is right now, is kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah, totally. These toggles should totally be bigger in real life because these are way too small. But yeah, there would be toggles. But yeah, like, so the question about photos is interesting to me. Like, when do you really need them? I think it's a little funny that you only see them at the beginning, but then you never see them ever again.
And that's a good point, because you need a photo to say, hey, this is what I'm aspiring toward. Like, this is my motivation.
Yeah. So.
And I kind of want to like do you have a hint of it? Like, is there a strip of a photo when you're working on the kale salad that's like vertically down the side or something?
Yeah. Let's try. Let's see how that feels. File, CC libraries, stick in kale salad. Yeah, something like that. I feel like there's so many different versions of this we could make. Let's just like do a little bit of iteration on this to see how it feels. So like, there's like that.
So I think we, correct me if I'm wrong, Adobe Live team, guess. I think I have two entries for the past. So your odds are looking really good, by the way, and I know everybody's been working really hard today, but essentially we have 2 entries right now for this afternoon. So your odds are looking good. I don't have your name on one of the. Oh wait, hold on. For Pat Rose and Daniel King, odds are looking good. I like that. That looks really good.
Wait,
like,
this?
No.
Oh,
the other
this?
one.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it gets too muddy.
I think
there.
I agree. I really didn't like that either.
Oh, that looks sexy. So sexy. Nice. And then if this was an app, you could swipe and reveal more of the photo.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's perfect. Okay, great. Let's go with this.
Okay, so we have about, let's see, 4:30. You have about 20 minutes to get in an app. We could review these two while we're kind of, maybe this will inspire us if we review a couple of our submissions.
Okay, that sounds great.
All right. So, if you don't mind, here is one. I can't remember who submitted this. We'll reference the name in a second. This is Fix My Street.
Nice.
Take a pic.
I wish I had one of these, especially on 101, which is the worst.
Okay, gotcha. Ooh, what I like about this, look, they have 10 different screens.
Oh, wow.
So let's take a pic. Nice transition. We take a pic. There it is. This is the shot. Ooh, both of these buttons work. Yes. We pin it to a location. I'm loving the flow of all this. This is the spot.
Nice.
Let us know your thoughts. Type in. Ooh, so this, well, I'll show you where this is, but there's basically UI kits embedded, so they didn't have to make this.
Oh, that's
It
cool.
actually is
That's really handy.
name. Man, congratulations. I just want to go like widescreen real fast because I want to just reference the name. Can't let you see under the hood too much, but looks like I think that's Pat Rose's is who's that should be, and I'll just double check. But thank you. It looked like Henrice. Yeah, that was Pat Rose's. We have Henrice, Cass, and then Michael also submitted some. So just give me 1 second as I open up those. Zoop. 2 more. Thank you so much for that, Pat Rose. We're going to move on to Daniel's. So we'll go over to Daniel's. Yeah, thank you so much. Welcome to Auto.
Oh, I like that yellow.
Yeah, it is nice.
Oh, wow, what a cool logo.
A better A to B.
Oh, that's cute too.
Man, clever. Hey, Elon.
Oh, nice.
To self-driving pickup at 10 a.m. So this is cool, self-driving. You can probably change the time as you click on it. Okay, a little blurriness, which is something else I can show you, by the way, 'cause you can actually add that in.
Oh, that's cool.
Let's confirm it, and we are all set. And let's just click through to some of these other screens. There's the sign in and the times. So thank you so much. That's awesome. Well thought out. We went through let's take a look at I Transport You. Let's go back because it looks like we're at. So what I'm doing here is we could always hit the home button, but essentially we're going to start out at screen 1 of 5. I Transport You sounds like a great idea.
Nice typography.
Here you are. I like I like that. You, fastest. I wonder where this is. Oh, in Manhattan. Yeah, we can totally walk there.
Cool.
So they made the whole screen clickable, which actually kind of makes it easier for me, essentially.
Yeah.
Well, let's go through. So you could walk 5 minutes.
Can you scroll
Bus.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we'll review one more. On Your Way, another nice. I like the dimensionality of this.
Yeah. It's like you can imagine it having a cool animation.
Name, Adobe, this is cool. Like these little details. Welcome. Enter your location. Yep. How'd you know? Let us take care of you. Ooh, activate GPS. That'll pop up.
Nice.
They're really thinking through a lot of these like details on a lot of this.
I like how
Listen to
realistic
music.
this is.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
holy cow.
Spotify.
13 screens. Let's kind of get moving through these. Enable Spotify so you can you know, play music. That's probably what this is.
Yeah.
Playing Little Lord. It's cool with us.
Pretty.
Start your adventure. 3D view of the location. Wow, this is pretty robust. So here's your 3D view. So your street view.
Wow. Wait, so what are we using
Panning
the 3D view
around.
for? Is it like...
I assume
okay.
it's just like a Google
Okay.
street view. Is kind of like, so you know when you're essentially there.
Oh, okay.
So, but I'm clicking through all these screens, and yeah, essentially we were doing exploring. Yeah, so we were essentially exploring. 17 screens, man. I think you win. I think that's probably the highest number of screens in an app, and actually it's very clean and works.
Yeah, visually,
So
it's a nice feel.
thank you so much. Yeah. Oh yeah. So this the theme is public transportation as well. So thank you so much to Morse Law and Ryan. And actually, I'm sorry. This is Morse Laws. I'm going to switch to Morse Laws if you don't mind. There's one more.
Oh, nice.
Real fast. On my screen, if you don't mind. Ooh, boom. So sorry about that. Morse Law, here's yours. I had it open in another tab, but here you are, home screen. Plan your trip.
Oh.
I want to go to the Rocky Mountains or something cool like that. And you can obviously voice activated. Take me to the mountains. From Maui, York. Let's go over here. Ooh, did you see that transition?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Fancy.
Ooh, and here's the different train rides.
Yeah.
Near stations, favorite stations. You kind of get the idea.
Yeah, awesome.
So good job. Good job, Morse Law. Awesome. Thank you so much, my friend. Here's the profile as well.
Yeah. Cool. Great.
Oh, hey, sorry, am I not being responsive, guys? Sorry, did I miss something? Did I miss something? I was reviewing your awesome designs, so I apologize. Yeah, so we will have a different theme tomorrow as well, but do want to thank, we just went through, oh man, now they're coming through. Whew. There's more that just came through. We got three more that just came through, which we'll talk about in a second. But we have Gabby's, Nicole's, and Mariana's. So thank you so much for that.
Quick question for the submissions. So should we be like, like critiquing them or like talking about them more, or is it like
we should?
Okay,
yes.
just curious what the okay.
Yes, we should. But
Okay.
at the same time, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Lots
6,
of
7,
submissions,
8,
yeah.
9. It
Got
would
it.
take the rest of the time.
Totally. Okay, sounds great.
Which I feel, that's why it sucks picking one, because it's
Oh,
just
yeah.
like, you feel like such a bad guy.
No, not,
Sorry.
just a lot of submissions. Makes sense. Okay.
We literally had 3 a second ago. It's like easily doubled.
Let's see.
I'm going to try to get it narrowed down for you.
Oh, okay.
Or
That would be
us.
great. Okay, that sounds great. So I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just actually gonna just because it's fun and because I feel like we have like a pretty good prototype in real life. Just to kind of talk more about the design process, I think this would be like a good step to just kind of like start bringing it to people actually, and just people who cook every day and just like get their feedback for how it feels, and then we would get like little things that we never really thought about, but then the app and the user experience would change from there. But I think, let's see, like one fun thing that might be cool for this step is just kind of like thinking about a page like this and thinking about visually like how exactly do we want it to look, and then we can sort of start to like transfer that visual style over onto different pages. But
Yeah. I
don't
think...
know.
Yeah, so you're saying we'll kind of attack this from a design standpoint right now?
Yeah, from like a visual design standpoint, because I feel like we've roughed out the experience pretty well. We've like identified some like key like usability errors that we know we want to fix, like and now we can have a little bit of fun just sort of thinking about visual stuff for like the rest of the time.
Hey, Ariana, did I miss a question? Let me know. Well, I'm probably missed a question. Gus, I don't know if you read it.
It's a long one.
Oh, it's super long.
I'll remix it.
Okay, cool. Thank you, my friend. Thanks, guys. Sorry, we were having a conversation here.
Oh, yeah,
I think
no, of
what I
course.
would do in this case is I would duplicate that artboard and then start messing with it.
Yeah, totally. Let's do this
And then-
actually. Can you create different pages of
Yeah, just do a Command D and it will duplicate it.
Command D? Okay, so Command D duplicates.
Yeah.
Yeah. But how about if you wanted to, like, is there such a thing as like sort of creating different pages within the screen? So for example, like this is one page, but then there's like another kind of like clean page that doesn't have any artboards on it. But
Yeah,
it's still
you can
within
do
the
that.
same project.
Yeah, you could just
Okay.
draw another one if you want to.
Oh, okay.
Darn, it scrolled away. I got this. Looking at the timeline, things can happen in parallel too. Prepping two things concurrently to save time. Can you have parallel nodes too instead of all in a series? So they're
Okay.
talking, yeah.
So parallel nodes instead of all in a series. I think that makes a lot of sense. Well, can we talk about like a concrete example of that?
Because you can only do one thing at a time. And my take on that is it's all part of this paragraph.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
Would it be? Would it not be? Would it be chop the kale salad and preheat the oven to 475?
Yeah. I mean, I think that you're only, if it's something like that, you're only ever doing something one thing at a time. So I think that it would be like, but if it's all within one paragraph, like on the website, you can't really like avoid that. But I think that's what the app is trying to do. Like theoretically, is it can read all of it and it can say like, while it's if the recipe literally like uses the word while, it will like break it out into two separate things.
Yeah.
And so it says like,
I would almost, yeah.
and so it would be like two separate steps here. And I think that that's sort of what we're getting at with this kind of thing, right? Where you've sort of done like the first step of it, but it's sort of like resting. And then you're doing the next thing while this is resting. But I don't know if that answers the question.
I think it would be.
boiling
I think it would
pasta
be
while
a.
cooking
I
salad.
think it would be a separate step because this is for the people who cannot multitask.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
myself.
Right.
Like let me do one thing at a time and then move on to the next thing.
Wait, so someone just said boiling pasta while cooking salad. I think that's boil water, right? And then like it's boiling or whatever, and you're topping the salad, preheating, and then there would be like another step after that. That's like cook the pasta, So they would all be sort of like broken out into
Yep.
in this thing.
You're
Yeah.
right. So they would, and again, you're kind of solving for that problem as a designer. You're.
Yeah, and that's something that is going to be really hard from the engineering perspective because we're trying to like essentially read these things and parse them properly. But yeah, different colors for the parallel steps. Yeah. Cool. Let's see.
And maybe it might be something that's kind of under, like you can have something under that you're supposed to do between 4 and 4:30, and there's two things you're supposed to do.
Oh, okay. Yeah, totally. So maybe there are like two steps that happen hand in hand or something like that.
Yeah.
Let's just like think a little bit about that for a little bit. Just put that in like a separate thing over here.
Gabby, thank you so much. Nicole. Less text, more visuals. Sure. I mean, the big thing there is like we want this to be a quick read because, you're trying to balance measuring cups and all that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I think that the less tech, like this is like, so one thing we could do is like, make, just like play with the scale of this, for example. I don't know, like maybe this doesn't need to be. Oh man, I really like the way it looks on the iPad. It's nice to just kind
I
of
love how nice and clean it looks. So we have 4 more to review,
Okay, great.
and we should probably take a look at them.
Okay, let's do that.
Oh yes. Thank you, Ryan. Ryan, are you with us, buddy? Love to. We're reviewing your design now. Thank you for posting out TB Hands.
Love the New York subway, Helvetica.
Yeah, so good.
Very cool.
Brooklyn Bridge, City Hall Station. Different take on a similar design that we looked at earlier.
That's fun. It like helps me understand like all of the different things that are at that station, all the different lines that are at that station, but I take that particular line.
Sorry, I got to get this all in one view. So it's like scrolling within a scrollable window within a scrollable window. There we are. Back. Let's click. Let's see if I missed anything. Okay, so where to is one. Let's click on where to. Type that in. So we've. Oh yeah, there we go.
Nice.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, cool, clean design.
Yeah, I really like the bold typography. I really like the changing of the going from one line to another.
Mm-hmm. Let's switch gears. So here we have Cataloco. The Night Owl bus.
That's cool.
Let's go to you. From your location to the bar. Heck yeah. Let's take that bus. Don't miss your Cataloco.
Where is the...
We're on the bus, apparently.
So is Cataloco really an actual bus, or...
I don't know.
Probably, okay.
It should be.
It should be,
Let's do this. Bars nearby. The Night Owl bus. I like it. So, again, kind of starting over. You bus, and then the bar, and we can even track the bus. Arrives, you can tell when it arrives, and then I guess when it arrives at the bar is what I'm looking at. But great job. So I don't have your name, is not associated to the screen, but let's go on to travel local. Public transit.
Cool.
Like it.
Very
And her
easy.
email. Oh, there we go. Ingrid, thank you so much. Here we are, the login screen. Let's go into transit. What do we want to take? Let's take the bus. Clicking right here. Where we want to go? Okay, let's take 82nd in Ogden.
Cool.
Let's go to Clackamas, and there we get that route. And then as I can scroll down, totally feasible as an app. Let's go to that last screen.
Cool.
Yeah, good job. One more. Public bikes. Sounds like a great idea to me. See public bicycle stations near you.
Nice.
Let's do that. Find free parking. Build your route. Okay, cool. Where are they? Okay. Let's go ahead and we want to go to the hospital. We can check out nearest stations.
That seems easy.
That's the one I want to go to. Let's hit start and go to bike station.
Okay, what's the time for?
I don't know. Maybe that's the time you have it as a
yeah.
rental or how long it will take or something.
Oh, that's cool.
There is a Cataloco bus. Hey, Gabby. Awesome. Cataloco is kind of fun to say, too. All right, cool.
Yeah, awesome.
So let's kind of get these narrowed down. We have this one. We have this one.
Yeah,
We have the
totally.
Cataloco. This one by Ryan's, very nice and clean.
Yeah.
I liked this one. Remember, this one had 17 screens.
Wow. Yeah.
So
Yep.
quite a bit going on there.
Lots going on. Lots of effort. Yeah. Fix my street.
Fix My Street, which good. It had a good flow to it.
Yeah,
all the
for
way
sure. I
down.
like how it, definitely went down.
Yeah. And
so
then
we can only pick one. So
sorry.
oh
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
and then getting Elon Musk to the thingamajig.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm for some reason like the bike one, like and this one. Those are like the two that like really
This
stick out to
one
me.
and then the bike one.
I really like I like that the person chose bikes, actually. I think that the visual design is very clean, but you're sort of using this like, atypical, typography or typeface for like, it's an Android app, but like you've chosen a nice typeface for it. I think that's really cool. And I think that it, it's using, interaction paradigms really nicely. So that's really cool. I really like how different the New York style kind of like subway app is. I really like that other screen where
Oh, let me go back. When we dove into this
when you
pathway,
dove into that one. Yeah, I don't know.
really easy.
Yeah, I just think that's like a cool kind of cool visualization. So what was
Okay, I want to... Oh, well, look at what Ryan's saying. I won a few months ago, so I only made it for feedback. You should pick the bike one. Is what he's saying.
Okay.
Jeez, Ryan, you're such a good man.
Yeah.
Ryan,
Good guy.
Ryan,
Flip
you
flop.
you get. We were talking about hugs earlier today. You get a hug. We really appreciate you. So Ryan essentially said, "Hey, you know what? I just want." First off, mad props to Ryan because I think this is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah,
like
Ryan.
undoubtedly nails it
Yeah.
in context of streets. Exactly everything that I would expect. So is this our winner then?
Yeah. Sure.
Or-
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. All right. Yeah. I can't. Oh, sorry.
The
Sorry.
13 pages.
Sorry,
I mean,
it
the
was
other one's
17.
really good. I mean, I just like how the experience is very clear to me. It's like it does this thing, and it's
Yeah.
nice and clean. So
Totally works. Well, congratulations. Let's just gotta dig up the name to make sure I get this one. That should be it. Yes, it is Mariana Almano. Mariana Almano. Are you in the chat? We'd love to see you. There we go. Thank you so much, Mariana.
is she there?
Mariana. Awesome. Well, hopefully you're here. Congratulations. Honestly, like again, it's so hard for us. I feel it's such a tough deal, but hopefully people have fun with this and I mean, like really I can't say enough about some of these. So
Yeah.
I mean,
for sure.
again, shout out to all these awesome ones. So and yours. Let's not forget yours. You did a great job too with sharing your screen.
Yeah. Thanks for watching.
We're winding
much
down.
time
I
do
think
we have
how
left?
much time do we have? 3 minutes.
Okay. 3 minutes left.
We're not gonna have you here tomorrow.
Yeah. Well,
Lock the door. Like we won't have you. We won't have you tomorrow because you're not coming back tomorrow because we're holding you hostage here. So if you're already here, you can't come back. So because we do want to kidnap you, but you're also going to be here on Thursday. Is that correct?
Yes, I will be here on Thursday.
Yay, Cece.
Yeah.
Like you are amazing. Can everybody agree? Munir, Herbert, Edward, Ariana. Can we admit Cece's pretty awesome?
Maybe we should pick a name, and then next time for Thursday we can do the logo, and then we can do.
Oh,
other
pick a
stuff.
name.
Yeah.
Let's do that right now. Yeah, I
Yeah.
have all the names right here. So let's
Nice.
just
Okay, perfect.
switch over and
Oh wow! Whisk is kind of fun.
I really do.
Whisk is
I
fun.
do dig Whisk.
I must say. I'm sorry, people dinnered and whatever. Table
No,
fair is also
table
really,
fair is fun.
I like table fair as one word. That's pretty cool.
Whisk really gets the point across.
Yeah, because you're just kind of like whoop, whisking
Going
it
right
up.
through it. And you're
And
making it seem easy.
And that could be really fun logo stuff for Thursday because there's so many things you can do with that.
All right. Well, Whisk it is. Congratulations to, again, that really wasn't a contest, but essentially, thank you. I don't know who said it or recommended it, but that's a fantastic name. And really, it's a group effort anytime you're brainstorming because one thing leads to another. And we just thank you for everybody. Thank you to everyone. Yes, essentially, it was a food party, Laura. I know that you're submitting the name, but okay, Herbert likes Whisk. I think we have it.
Game of
I think we have-
Scones. That
Oh
was-
yeah, Game of Scones. Game of Scones was somebody that
That one was
submitted
good.
Game of Scones.
Into food. I also like into
The
food.
food. Chef-tastic. Grub. Hangry. Munchies. We get it.
Yeah. No. these
Creative
are
people
all,
here.
All great. So good.
Yes.
Dinner winner. Oh yeah. That's
So,
good too.
and this is the thing, like nobody quite remembers. It might have been, one or the other person. But Cece, thank you so much.
Yeah.
How was
thanks,
your
Paul.
first experience?
It was fun. I mean, it was like scary but fun, right?
Man, you just
Being
impressed
live
me.
is scary.
Is everybody impressed by Cece? Just like, you can
Oh,
clap
thanks,
out loud.
everyone.
I don't want to on the mic, but yeah, again, Facebook's lucky to have you.
It's fun to
So-
see all of the comments and just to be with people online. And thanks for staying up so late, everyone.
Yeah,
That is
exactly.
staying up late.
Priyasha says it right. You are great, Cece. So thank you so much. I'm so glad we have you on Thursday. Super excited. But we also get to, hold Talon hostage as he talks about XD features. And like he's the guy who's actively working on XD. So we try to pry information out of him, which is always fun.
Oh, that's awesome. For all the secrets.
Yes.
The new features of
all
XD out of them.
all the secrets. So yes, that's essentially what's going on, guys. Again, we have we have Travis Nelson in the morning, Then we have Jessica, Johnny Vino, and then myself and Talon. So join us all day tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. Tim, Vlad, Ariana, hanging out with us. Stalk us online. Stalk you online. That's one way to get a hold of you.
Yep.
Thanks so much,
All the
everyone.
chickens.
Yes. Thanks, everybody.